Thursday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
You got arrested for trying to get in the castle.
The castle is a perfect place to have my 39 parrots.
He's had it with his wife's behavior and her beliefs.
You've said God is telling you what to say, and he needs to shut up.
I'm not the same person I was. I'm happier.
Give your dad some respect!
You don't seem happy. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. You know, every year, more than 43 million Americans suffer from at least one form of mental illness. Now, many who struggle with these issues turn to spirituality to help find guidance during their times of distress. Now, my guest today, Brooke, says she turned to God 3 years ago to help her get through some really tough times. But her husband, Jack, says his wife has gone to extremes with her beliefs, and it's causing problems in all aspects of their life. Now, Jack says anytime he challenges her about God, she becomes unrecognizable. Red-faced, bulging eyes, spitting and screaming at him. Take a look.
Give me a second, let me as your dad finish! Give your dad that respect!
You have to understand, that's not the woman he married. Now, after a rage like that, Jack says he's afraid one night while he's asleep, his wife is going to fly off the handle and just snap. But Brooke says that's just ridiculous. All she wants is for Jack to treat her with dignity and respect and to listen to her beliefs without question.
My wife says that spirits, God, Jesus, speak to her and through her.
God just told me if you still don't believe, that is on you. I'm done. I'm done.
Right.
I have learned how to tap into God and how to tap into Jesus.
Am I talking to Brooke?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
And God.
Now.
We're both here.
Okay.
Believe it. He's
Okay.
walking by my side,
Okay.
okay? I have him by my side. Don't think I don't.
Brooke has said that she thinks that she is God.
I can change the world in one day because I am God, and I will.
I've questioned her, and she takes it as an insult or a slight, and she goes bat bonkers.
How can you let me talk and know what I'm gonna say when you won't let me?
I can't hear over the scream.
Be triggered, no!
I must
Serious.
When my husband Jack doesn't listen to me and my messages that I believe God has given me, I get angry.
I'm not sure if Brooke's had a spiritual awakening or if she's having a mental breakdown.
God has taken over my body on at least 2 occasions. I fell, and then I stood up, and I believe I could have been Jesus right then.
It's hard to believe that she's really speaking for God when she gets so vile and angry.
Stop talking, let me talk! Stop!
Oh my God,
It's not your story!
At this point, Jack and I are close to separating. If he can't respect me, to just listen to me all the way through without interruption, I'm done. I will walk away.
Now, before I begin and bring Jack and Brooke out here, I want to explain a few things about this. We're not doing this story for entertainment purposes or because it's sensational in nature. It's meant to be a teaching tool and hopefully advance the narrative about mental illness in America. Now, you are going to hear some outrageous things, some of which may seem funny, but it's critically important that this individual not feel mocked or put on display in any way. That's not why we're doing this. This couple is here for help with a serious problem. And by talking to them, by helping them, we can hopefully help those at home who might be dealing with a similar situation. But look, it's time that we take mental illness out of the shadows and eliminate the shame associated with it. So let's meet Jack and Brooke. So let's bring them on out. This is Brooke. How are you? Good to see you.
Pleasure. It's amazing to see you.
Good
Thank
to see you. How are you?
Great.
Oh, Jack, how are you, sir? Good to meet you. Have a seat.
Likewise.
Wow.
All right. So, tell me why you're here.
I'm here just because I want to save my marriage because I love this man dearly. And I just need some help and making sure people, I want to know that I'm not crazy. And you are the only doctor I completely trust. I watch your show all the time, and I just love you and Robin and the things that you guys stand for.
Let me tell you, you're not crazy. That word's a derogatory word. I don't like that word, and I know you mean it in just kind of an overarching descriptive way. That's a term that I really don't like. And tell me why you're here.
Over the course of the last couple years, my wife has developed a spirit of religiosity, I suppose, that has me very concerned.
Has your behavior changed?
Yes, I've changed 100%. I'm not the same person, the same soul I once was.
And why not?
Because I'm happier.
Wow, because he sent us a bunch of tapes that you encouraged him to record.
Correct.
Because I see you on there saying, you keep that camera going and you send this to Dr. Phil.
Correct.
And you don't seem happy. Now, I've been doing this for 45 years. I know happy when I see it, and that ain't happy, girl. You don't seem happy.
I'm not happy because I have been experiencing so many things the last couple of years on my own spiritually, and I've never been, I don't go to church, I don't know the Bible, I don't know all this stuff. My husband does, and so I go to him, and I try to have somebody, because I've never really had anyone to talk to.
Okay, but you've changed. You recognize something has changed.
Oh, I know for a fact I've changed, yes.
Okay, and what do you attribute the change to?
God and Jesus and myself.
Okay, and God and Jesus changed you in what way? They've come inside you. What's your connection to God and Jesus that happened within the last 2 years?
At first, I thought it was basically just my own voices, my own mind. But my mind is not this smart. So all of a sudden, I start hearing these things, and I've actually allowed them to take over my body. I've actually allowed them, I've surrendered to them.
How do you know it's God talking to you?
When you hear your father's voice, but it's not really a voice, you know the difference. And I asked him the same thing. I said, would you be able to know your father's voice, your real father, if he was to call you up on the phone, or would you know if it's an imposter? You learn. I've learned to know if it's God, if it's Jesus, if it's the Holy Spirit, if it's my grandmother, people that have passed recently. I know when they're there.
And you say that you have visions.
I wouldn't say visions.
You did say visions.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I wouldn't say, okay, so no visions. Sorry about that. I just hear things. I just hear things that I would not normally.
You said you have visions of God and angels, and that you hear a voice in your head. I think in one of the tapes that we heard early on, you were saying that you were God.
God has entered my body, yes, and he has done it several times because I've allowed him to. I've said, take whatever I've got. So when you're trying to talk to a loved one about all this stuff and he will not listen, he calls you he doesn't call me a liar, but he basically says, well, I don't believe that, I don't believe that. So when you're trying to talk to a loved one and you can't even get a message across and them just believe you.
Okay, but is he not entitled to his opinion?
He is very entitled, but am I not entitled to be able to say what I need to say with the same respect that I am supposed to give him?
When we come back, why does Jack think Brooke is confused here? I'm going to ask him next, and we're going to hear what she does sound like when she's frustrated. We'll be right back.
Last year, God knocked Jack out on his ass.
And I jumped up and I said, what happened? What happened? Did you hit me? She immediately, oh, it was God. God knocked your butt out.
And later, this castle's up there. She predicted that would be hers by morning. and she's ultimately trying to climb over the fence.
No.
Well, enough, whatever happened, you got arrested.
Yeah. Dr. Phil is the one person that can help me with Jack, so he does finally believe that I'm talking to Jesus.
Is that okay, Dr. Phil? He's not hearing what I'm saying, or he's just so caring he doesn't want to believe it.
Or he's paying us your judgmental statements and stay hurt.
Oh, really? Dr. Phil, isn't this supposed to be about me, not him? Is it?
It's about you. That's the point, Brooke.
Well, Jack says when he first met his wife, Brooke, she was stunning, fun, and happy to be around. Life was perfect until about 3 years ago when Brooke suddenly became, quote, enlightened by God. Now, Jack says now the problem is it's hard to talk to Brooke without turning into an argument about their opposing views of God. But he says sometimes he just has to go along with it to keep the peace. Take a look.
Jack and I, all of our fights have been about God and Jesus. And last year, God knocked Jack out on his ass.
We had a big blowout.
Jack started yelling at me. And I looked up and I said, God, you're in control. Make him realize.
I threw myself on the ground and laid there, pretending like I was bowled over by the Spirit. And I'm kind of one eye, oh, she's looking, and I jumped up and I said, what happened? What happened? Did you hit me? She immediately, oh, it was God. God knocked your butt out.
I walked away. I said, God, you're in control. Make it happen. And he did. So it's very shocking that Jack doesn't believe it himself because he witnessed it.
I let her believe that I was knocked out by God. In reality, I was putting on a show. I've not told her that I've done that. I've always let her just believe it.
Wow, that's news to me. I thought I've never lied to my husband about anything. So for me to talk about God and Jesus, which I've never even talked about, I never even used to pray. Now that's all I do, all day, every day. He's the one keeping me calm. Normally I'd be red and blotchy and full of nerves and not being able to talk.
Well,
but they've given me the strength today.
You say keeping you calm.
That's not calm.
Here's some video examples that Jack shared with us with your permission and, in fact, your encouragement. Let's take a look.
Let me finish!
What?
Quit talking! Quit talking and I can answer it! My God! You interrupt me all the time! Please! Give me a second! Let me, as your dad, finish! Give your dad that respect! Give it to him! He deserves it or you're dead, man! Oh my God! Shut the up until I say you can talk and then you will get it! Dr. Phil, isn't this supposed to be about me, not him? Is it?
It's about you.
Can I explain that?
I hope so.
Okay, good. He's asked me to give him my opinion and to talk to him. I've given him the respect to start a conversation and completely finish, no matter how long it takes, no matter how long he needs to do, as long as I understand him completely and totally, I have given him that respect, okay? He has yet to give me that respect. So those were where I was getting mad because I'm supposed to be somebody that you love. I'm supposed to be somebody that you respect, yet you can't even give me respect to look at me and let me finish without constantly interrupting. If Robin does that to you, if she's got something important to say that's this big drastic change in your life, don't you respect her to just listen to her and say, oh, well now maybe, then we can talk about it.
Well, you just asked me a question. You need to let me answer.
Yes, go ahead.
A conversation is two-sided.
Correct.
You do have to let him weigh in every once in a while. And Robin and I might disagree about something, but my goal and her goal is always that the other side understand our point of view. If your goal when you have a disagreement is to get the other side to agree, that's the wrong objective. You just need to have the goal that they understand and then just leave it with them. I do have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and God is a a very loving, caring, peaceful God. And
Yes.
I hear you saying he's knocked you on your ass. Shut the up.
Yeah.
And God is telling you, God is not telling you that. That's not God.
No, God is not
That's
telling
you.
That is not God. I
That's
agree.
you, but you're saying it's God. You're doing that under the flag of God. I've listened to the tapes. You say he doesn't listen to you. I've listened to 14 tapes where you've said God is telling you what to say and he needs to shut up.
Well, the thing is those tapes that you are hearing is we start a conversation and he'll sit there and I let him talk and I let him finish that conversation. I start, he interrupts me.
That's a communication issue.
know.
That doesn't have anything to do with God.
No, it doesn't. But when you're sitting there and you're just realizing who God and Jesus is and they are talking to you and they're trying to tell you, hey, have somebody that loves you to understand you. Tell them if you're crazy or not.
Do you think God wants you here today?
Yes, I know for a fact he does.
Jack says Brooke makes predictions. Have they come true? We'll talk about that when we come back.
There is a castle that overlooks our house. It is just a perfect place to have my birds stay forever.
So one day, Brooke wants to take a trip to go look at the castle. We ended up there, and she's trying to climb over the fence.
Noah saved the animals, and that is what I'm trying to do.
You are like a chicken town bomb.
The DC drama is on fire.
I'm gonna take accountability for this.
Say that one more time. How is your marriage right now?
Love and Marriage DC Reunion Part 3 tonight, 8/7 Central.
Whoa, the new iPhone 15. With that amazing camera, I'll be sharing pics from this float.
You do not want to see yourself skiing. You look like a marshmallow.
Join now. Only T-Mobile gives you 4 new iPhone 15s on us and 4 lines of unlimited for $25 a line.
I'll stop the world and melt with you. I'll stop the world and melt with you.
Have you had your Hershey's?
Katie, I knew I'd find you here. I know, it's wild. I'm you from the future. Anyway, our doctor figured it out. All that constipation with belly pain that keeps coming back, it's IBS-C. She said Linzess could help you get ahead of it. What do you say? Yes.
Get ahead of your IBS-C with Linzess. Linzess is not a laxative. It's a once daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. These aren't all the side effects. Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn how AbbVie and Ironwood could help you save.
From the minute I made that first call to National Debt Relief, I felt immediate relief.
They treated me like a real person, not a number.
It really was a team working with me.
You can get out of debt, and I'm living proof.
Visit nationaldebtrelief.com to get started.
At Outback, your wish is our command. Backed by popular demand, steak and lobster starting at $19.99. Come enjoy our boldly seasoned steak and buttery lobster tail. Hurry to Outback, where steak and lobster wishes come true starting at $19.99. No rules, just right.
Get 24-hour allergy relief that does not fade. Be wise all, take Zysol. At night.
Cook Unity is a direct-to-chef marketplace. Choose from hundreds of weekly menu items. Cook Unity, real food from real chefs, delivered fresh. Visit cookunity.com/TV for 50% off your first week.
You get a letter from your health insurance company. They denied your child again. A month later, another letter arrives. Your premiums are going up 12%. How can the health insurance companies get away with this?
had an incident where our sewer line had backed up. I'd went and rented a drain snake and was out there cleaning it, and pushed through, and then all the water goes rushing out. As that happened, Brooke comes running out and said, "Oh, did the drain just finally go?" That's a miracle, because I was just praying to God that he would make it happen. I don't know that I think that everything's a miracle. Drain unclogging isn't necessarily divine intervention. It's effort.
Well, Jack says his wife of 4 years, Brooke, is not the same woman that he married in terms of behavior. He said something changed about 3 years ago when his wife became convinced that God, Jesus, and spirits were talking to her and through her. He says his wife even thinks that she is a prophetess, and one night last March made a prediction. Jack recorded it. Take a look.
Jack and I now have 39 exotic parrots. Noah saved the animals, and that is what I'm trying to do. There is a castle that overlooks our house. It is just a perfect place to have my birds stay forever.
In the past, Brooke was convinced that this castle was going to be ours.
I predict that we will have a castle by tomorrow.
So one day, Brooke wants to take a trip to go look at the castle.
This is where the incident happened, right here.
We ended up there, and she's punching numbers on the gate keypad, and it's not opening, of course.
I was right here, punching in codes.
Eventually, she's trying to climb over the fence.
Next thing I know, he said, "I'm done, I can't do this," and he left.
I just called the police. My wife's trying to break it in her, and I wasn't going to have any part of it.
This is where I got handcuffed and put in a mental institution.
He said, "We're going to just check you over, and then we're going to send you home with your husband." Oh no, that did not happen. Next thing I know, I was claiming to be God in the ambulance. I'm like, this is God speaking, but I knew it wasn't me. I knew it was God.
We ended up having to give her some kind of a sedative. Brooke is definitely not the same woman I married.
She said that this castle's up there, which looks like a very expensive home, castle or whatever it is. She predicted that that would be hers by morning. And so you go there, and she's ultimately trying to climb over the fence.
No.
Okay, well, enough, whatever happened, you got arrested.
Yeah, the only reason I was arrested was because my husband called the cops on me and had me arrested because he didn't understand what was happening. He took off. And yes, I was punching buttons in, but it was just because I wanted to get his attention, just to go up there. I was a bad solicitor, I'm sorry. I don't solicit, but I'm willing to do anything and ask anybody for help that will give me help. He didn't see that. He was asking me a question.
Okay, now hold on. Was she trying to climb over the fence?
Yes.
And she's punching, okay.
Yes.
I wasn't even near the gate. I was at the keypad only.
Okay. And then you get in the police car and you tell them you're God. You
I said I was God to them?
That's what you said
Not
on the tape.
in the police car, in the ambulance.
In the ambulance, you
The
said you were
car,
God.
In the police car, I was laughing, looking up at God, going, "Are you kidding me?"
Did you
I
say
can't
in the
believe
ambulance
this."
that you were God?
On the way to there, yes, I said that. I didn't say I was. I said God was talking through me. I meant God was talking through me. This is Brooke.
Does that seem inappropriate to you?
No.
It seems like you don't have a ability to pump the brake and inhibit your behavior.
I do, but when you're
let me tell you, I
living-
live behind gates. Rob and I have very gates with cameras and
I would normally
laser
not do
lights
that.
around, and there are people that have tried to get in our gates before, and we have them arrested.
I would never do
Because
that.
she's behind those gates, and I want her protected. And I don't, if there's somebody out there trying to violate our perimeter, I take that very seriously.
I never tried to climb the fence. All I was doing was trying to see if I could, I just was entering the address to see if I could drive up this long driveway. I just wanted to see if somebody was there because the castle sits dormant.
What do you think's going on with Brooke?
I don't have an answer. I have done some research into the type of behaviors on the, on the internet, so on, and I've got a thought or two, but I'm not a clinician. I have no idea, and I wouldn't even care to venture a guess.
Dr. Phil, can I just say one thing? I know I've had a lot of time, but if he listened to me, he would understand everything. He would have never even had to ask a question again.
What would he know?
What's been happening to me, that I've been trying to talk to a husband as a confidant, as a loved one, as somebody that I respect and want somebody to finally listen to me.
But you can't tell me what that is.
Everything that I've been experiencing, it's been 3 years of pure chaos in my mind.
And you want to know what I think?
Exactly, because he's never given me that chance.
Coming up, Brooke says Jack is not so innocent in this, and she says 2016 was the worst year of her life. We're going to talk about that and some years before that when we come back. Closed captioning provided by...
When Jack starts drinking is when we start fighting more.
Brooke says that me drinking is a big part of our problem. I say my drinking is how I deal with the problem. Over the course of an entire day, I have put an 18-pack away.
When I start talking and Jack's been drinking, it's like a war.
Jack, you stop talking for 2 seconds!
When Brooke starts her demeaning remarks and belittling me, it pushes me to grab another beer. That was my escape.
What I'm seeing here is a couple whose communication skills are virtually non-existent. Their coping skills are highly dysfunctional. You're self-medicating with alcohol. You're getting frustrated and screaming and yelling.
And hurt.
And, I'm a strong believer, and I've said this many, many times, and I keep repeating it because I want people to hear this. When you see anger, it is nothing more than an outward manifestation of hurt, fear, or frustration. So when I see you yelling and screaming and eyes bulging and red-faced, as you call it, that is anger. That's the outward manifestation of hurt, fear, and frustration. And I think you are experiencing a lot of pain. I think you are experiencing a tremendous amount of frustration because you want him to understand something that I believe you can't explain. I think you can't get him to understand it because the truth be known, you can't explain it.
I can't understand it myself.
You're attributing a lot of things that are going on in your head to God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and I certainly hope that's there, but I don't think it's alone.
People have only seen a little bit of what I've went through, and...
Well, I do my homework.
I know you do. I know you read everything.
I've made a list and I've checked it twice.
Okay.
And I've made a list of what I think are key events. Now, at 2, you said that you had some visions as far back as 2 years old.
I used to see spirits. Yeah. A little boy and a grandmother. Yeah. They were never harmful.
Okay, but that's atypical.
Okay.
Okay, for a 2-year-old child to be seeing visuals that the rest of the world doesn't see is atypical. That's a neurological event that is not common. For you to remember that at your age, something that was happening at 2 is atypical. At 8 and 9 years old, you had some trauma in your life, correct?
Yes, correct.
And that left you pretty traumatized, would you agree?
It did.
And you have been married 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah. Because if I'm not happy, I don't stay, and if I don't feel wanted, I leave because I've had to leave everybody.
But you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marriages.
Correct.
4 failed, one that's in trouble.
Yep.
And the common denominator is?
And it's me, but my marriage has never failed. The first one I got married to, I didn't know who he was. I knew him a week to give another guy his life back. So I didn't know the guy, got divorced from him. The second one, I couldn't have kids. He didn't want to adopt. So I let him go on his merry way. So in 5 years, he didn't hate me for not giving him children. And now he's got kids. The third one, he was a recluse. He was used to not being around anybody. So he got it to where I was alone all the time. I said I didn't get married to be alone. And I'm still friends with every single one of them. I can still see them to this day and walk up and give them all a hug, and they would be fine. There was only reasons that wasn't because we fought, it's because of other life incidences that we separated.
But based on results, you've yet to have a sustained
Correct.
long-term relationship, and the common denominator is you.
Correct. We were at the funeral, and I said, I believe that's Tom. And it was a dragonfly.
Well, did anybody else start talking to the dragonfly? Closed captioning provided by... You said you have an ex-boyfriend that died, and you see him in the form of a dragonfly.
No, no. We were at the funeral, and I went up and spoke, and as I came back, all of a sudden I looked at his first ex-girlfriend and I said, I believe that's Tom. And it was a dragonfly. That dragonfly kept coming all over by me, all over, just by me.
Wasn't that what I just said?
Yeah, but it wasn't a boyfriend. He was just a friend.
Would you agree that you were probably the only one in the church that believed that dragonfly was your dead friend?
Oh, yeah, I am the only one. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's non-consensual. That's an atypical belief.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I don't know, I guess.
Well, did anybody else start talking to the dragonfly?
No, nobody believes what I say and what I do.
No, I'm not. But I was just saying, do you recognize that that is specific only to you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's important.
Okay, yes, I do.
And then in 2016, your grandmother dies.
Correct.
Very sorry for your loss, by the way. You had a suicide attempt.
Yes, because Jack called me a liar.
You didn't attempt suicide because he called you a liar. You attempted suicide because you decided to attempt suicide. You didn't do it because of something he did. You did it because you made that choice.
I did it because I am not a liar and I've never lied to him, and for him to say that you're not going to do it, and I walked right in and I did it because I had nothing left. I had no home. I had nowhere to take my 39 birds. I had nobody. I'd lost my sister because I found God in Jesus. I have had a ton of people, just because I started becoming happy and talking about God and Jesus, and what I've been hearing has abandoned me.
Do you understand how incongruent that is? You
do.
said, I have found God and Jesus and am happy for the first time in my life, so I'm going to kill myself.
Well, it's more recognizable now with God and Jesus. Back then, it wasn't, as I didn't know what was happening with me. I just knew that
God and Jesus came into your life 3 years ago. This
has just been recently happening that they have. It's just been about the last 6 months that they've really let me know, hey, we are here. You need to help. You need to get it out there that, you know what, as long as you could be, I was at my lowest. I was in a fetal position crying out to God, saying, God, I need something, please help me, or I'm done. And they reached out and I felt it, and I lifted up.
All right, but this is a test.
Okay.
I'm giving you a test here.
That's fine.
Do you have the insight to recognize that that was your choice?
Yes, I do.
You can't lay that at his feet.
No.
You didn't try to commit suicide because of him. You own that choice.
I do own it.
Have I listened to you today?
Yes, you have. So thank you very much.
Coming
That's
up.
why I'm here.
I've listened to Brooke, and she said so. So I get a gold star.
You are gold.
Next, I want her to listen to me because I have something that I want to tell her and some things I want to say to Jack. We'll be right back.
Ever since I was a child, I would see spirits. I would take Loratab and Percocet just to stay asleep, because if I heard a noise and I'd open my eyes, I'd have like a little boy that would throw a ball, but when you'd get on the light, there was nothing there. Through my life, I've been on Xanax, Loratab, Percocet, Paxil, Phentermine, Wellbutrin, Prozac, Lanzapine, my Lamotrigine, everything that you could pretty much think of. But my goal is to be 100% pure of any medication. Now I am using God's help to heal myself.
things happen to you at 8 and 9 years old, and you are abused at that age, and that is never tended to, then that's an open wound. And there is a common theme to people that have been through that, and that is that I was not listened to. I wasn't valued. I wasn't paid attention to. I wasn't heard. And I actually went through a lot of the recordings that you have provided to us. And out of all the tapes, the most common thing you say is, "Don't interrupt me. Stop talking. I've been over-talked all of my life. If you listened, then you would respect me. If you don't believe me, I'm done. I talk a lot because no one hears me the first time." And I actually did word counts. The words talking, interrupt, respect, listen occurred 12 times, 10 times, 9 times, 17 times. I broke down the linguistics of what you say. And it tells me that you're very frustrated because you think that you just don't matter.
Exactly.
And the things you're hearing in your head, I believe, are not God talking to you.
Okay.
I believe that God has a very strong presence in your life. I believe God led you here.
I know he did.
I want to send you to what I consider to be the top diagnostic center in the United States. And I've already talked to them. It's the Psychoneuroplasticity Center in Dallas, Texas. And they do multidisciplinary evaluations and analysis: psychological, psychiatric, hormonal, biochemical, neurological. We are going to find out who you are every possible way. And Dr. Frank Lawless and Dr. Barbara Peavy have all the information about you already. They are ready to bring you in. You're going to be there for a few days. We're going to do a workup on you. Then we need to get you some sustained help going forward. And I think we can do this in a way that in a short period of time, you're going to feel a good deal better in a stable sort of way. And then I'm going to get some help to teach you two how to talk to each other.
I'd love that.
All right, fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right, Jack, fair enough? All right. Coming up, the former ballerina is determined not to let her teenage daughter make the same bad decision she did. We're going to meet them after the break. Closed captioning provided by... My next guest, Sharon, moved to California from England 10 years ago, and she quickly became a beach-going, sun-loving California girl. But now at 52, Sharon says she's paying for all of that fun in the sun. Take a look.
When I was younger, I was the absolute sunbathing queen. I used to use baby oil everywhere.
You kept putting sunscreen on my face.
That's what I'm telling you. My daughter Ellie is 18 years old. I wanted to protect her skin from aging. I definitely don't want to have those issues by the time I get to her age. When I was younger, I was a ballerina. I would love if my face could match my body. I'm just ready to look beautiful from head to toe.
I'm Sonia Batra. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Dr. Batra. And this is my daughter Ellie.
Welcome. So what brings you in today?
I have a lot of concerns with lines, wrinkles, and sun damage.
So when we talk about a skincare routine, we really want something that's going to address all of those aspects. One of the products I really like that I was going to recommend to you is actually a serum. It's called No. 7 Lift Illuminate Triple Action Serum. And the reason I like it is because it has really excellent scientific data to support that it evens out skin tone, it firms the skin, and it actually visibly reduces the signs of wrinkles. You use it in the morning and night before your moisturizer, and you should actually start to see results in as soon as 2 weeks.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Well, dermatologist Dr. Sonia Batra and Sharon are joining me now. Sharon's 18-year-old daughter, Ellie, is here in the audience as well, so I'm glad you're here. Now, Sharon, during your years of training as a dancer in England, were you taught anything about skincare?
I mean, my main focus was always on my body. You know, I was a dancer, so it was always about the body and keeping in shape. Back in England, we don't have intense sun like we have here in California. So when I look at myself now from living here, I'm left with wrinkles and sun damage.
So, Doctor, when you examined Sharon's face, what were your biggest concerns for her?
So she is starting to have some unwanted souvenirs from the sun she is getting here. We were talking about uneven skin tone, some loss of firmness that she's starting to develop, and the early wrinkles, which is why I suggested Sharon try a product that I also recommend to many of my patients, No. 7 Lift and Luminate Triple Action Serum. It will address all three of these problems. Their clinical testing showed that 89% of subjects had a visible reduction in the appearance of their wrinkles.
Wow.
Wow.
Ellie, you are in a very different situation. You don't have to try to reverse what's going on. What have you learned from this?
I've learned that it's so important to keep your skin hydrated and to stick to a regimen, as Dr. Batra had mentioned to me. It's never too early to prevent, you know, so you don't have those issues later on.
It's never too early.
Right.
Never, ever, ever.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to hear you say that. Really wise choices.
So, Sharon, I think it's great that you and Ellie have such a close relationship, but I know you have concerns about Ellie's career choice, right?
Oh, yes, Dr. Phil. Obviously, I was a ballerina from age 2 to 28, and when she decided she wanted to enter the music industry as a singer-songwriter, I'm like, oh no, you know, here comes the stress for me because, you know, I raised her as a sweet, you know, kind girl, and now she's entered this industry. Wow.
Yeah. We have a son that's a musician, so I know a lot about it. And, well, there he is. That's him.
Wow.
His band is 100-handed, and they tour all over the country, just getting ready to go out again. And I tell you, it's tough. Yeah. And I've seen him 36, 48 hours in the studio nonstop trying to get it right. It is hard, hard work. Yeah. You're going to hear a lot of no's along the way. And you cannot put your life on hold while you're pursuing the dream. You got to be realistic about it. Yes. But then once you are, go after it, man. If that's where you are, go after it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you.
So, Sharon, to help relieve one of your stresses, you're going to get a year's supply of No. 7.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Wow. Thank you.
And I don't want this to turn into a hostile mob, so everyone in the audience is going home with one. Okay, and Dr. Batra, where can people at home get No. 7?
So actually, you can get it at Target for less than $35.
Great. Well, that's good to hear. All right, I'd like to thank all of my guests today, especially Dr. Sonia Batra. We'll see you next time.